Hilux. They're unbreakable, aren't they?
Welcome to another episode of Project Luxy. In this particular episode, we're going to talk about the lighting, which is on the roof and behind the grille. Also the new nav system I'm using, which I just purchased the other day. I'll go through why I've decided to buy that one, and the communication, which I haven't shown you guys yet. I've mounted it the best place possible in the vehicle. Those three things covered in this video down to detail. We're also going to run a bit of a test on the lights out here. We have dying light, so let's get into it. Let's talk about what lights I've put on it and what componentry I've used before we get into the rest of the video. Now, I'm in the industrial area at the moment at my unit because we're currently in a lockdown for just this little segment of this video, so I apologise for any industrial noise. On the roof, there are 6 Life Force strikers, and behind the grille, there are another 2 Life Force strikers. So in total, we've got 8 Life Force strikers. Yes, far too many lights. We don't need that many. I can switch these lights individually, well, in pairs. We have 3 relays. All I have to do is remove 1 or 2 relays, and then we can actually test how much light we're getting out of just having 2, 4 or 6 on the roof. And of course, we can also show how much we're throwing from the actual grille at the front, which is actually really impressive. So you will get a clear picture and indication of what the benefits are of having them up here or down there. So stay tuned for all that stuff. Componentry I've used. The cool thing with these strikers is they come in a twin pack, which means that you also get the wiring harness, everything that you actually need. So what's in that box with the 2 lights is enough to actually install them to your vehicle. Although you get all that stuff in that twin pack, I have got custom switches instead because they look way cooler and they fit into the Hilux trim. Also, the top 6 brackets, I've actually changed them to a different style bracket to give me a different angle and different way of mounting them, as opposed to the ones that came in the pack. Now they're also from Light Force, those brackets. Behind the grille, we've had to custom fabricate some brackets, which you will see very shortly, because we'll talk about the grille lights next. I just want to address the roof lights here. I'm aware of the laws in Western Australia, how many lights you can have on a roof. So no need to bang on about it down below. Every state has different laws. Are there too many lights on the roof for WA? Yes, there is, but I'm looking at it as one whole light. All right, let's move on. Let's talk grille lights. They're pretty handy where I've put them because I didn't have a bull bar when I actually first mounted them. So it's a good way to show you guys that you can actually mount lights without having to get a bull bar. So if you don't need a bull bar, just put your lights behind your grille. We've got the cover off, and you may have noticed a few minor modifications to make this work. So on the cover itself, we've had to notch out a few holes for the brackets that we have put in. And these are done by Graver Customs. Thank you very much to those guys. 2 custom made brackets, which we made work, and it stops these lights from rattling, because I initially put them on the actual horn mount. So the horns are now here. First I had them just temporarily mounted to the horn mounts just to see how it would work, and I was pretty pleased with the light it put out and where it was mounted. So therefore we went to the effort of making these brackets. I even conveniently mounted the relay right here so it's easy to get to. Nice and easy. The same principle as if you put them out here, except for they're hidden and they're not seen, no one can steal them. Also, no one can lean on them. But if I want to adjust them, all I've got to do is put my hand in here and I can actually adjust the up and down on it. I can't turn them side to side, but I can adjust up and down, which is pretty damn handy. So if corrugation's moving too much, just reach in, move them a bit. Don't have to pull everything off. We're going to test from 8 lights to 6 lights to 4 lights to 2 lights, and then we're going to compare lights on the bar compared to 2 lights on the roof, so you can get the true representation of what you can achieve with these lights depending on where you put them. At the moment, low beam, high beam. You can see some signs down there being picked up. Roof lights, bottom lights. It's all 8 lights on right now. That's what we're getting, and that's pretty damn impressive.
I estimate I can see roughly a kilometre down the road. Let's pull some relays. 4 roof lights coming up. That's 4 roof lights. Let's compare it to the 6 roof lights. Back to the 4 roof lights. We've pulled another relay. Let's put the lights back on. That is 2 roof lights. This is the exterior lights, so they're shining a bit more out to the side. But that is 2 lights on the roof compared to the 4 lights, compared to the 6 lights on the roof. So now we have the 2 center lights on the roof and the 2 center lights behind the grille, and we will see which one actually gives us better light. Grille lights first. Let's get them up, get up and going. There we go, that's the grille lights. Now you notice it's quite white because we're bouncing off the white limestone. Let's turn the grille lights off and go to the roof lights. You'll see it's got more spread. It's slightly more yellow, so it's probably a bit easier on your eyes because it's not bouncing straight off that white ground. And I reckon it's shooting further. Let's go back to the grille. Yep, see, if you look down the road, the ones on the grille aren't hitting that far. So having them on the roof in this scenario is actually better. You got more spread, more distance, and less reflection off the road right in front of you. These look brighter up close, but they're not getting the same distance as where they're mounted. What do you guys think? Keen to know. Let's put them both on. There we go, both of them. So having just 2 strikers on the roof and 2 behind the grille, or on your bar in your case, is probably enough light. That is really good. That's awesome. The bad thing about having all these lights is the amount of draw and load I'm putting on my battery and also on the alternator. It's not good. I'm actually going to upgrade my alternator, not just because of the lights. If that was the case, I would remove lights because that's a bit dumb, right? I need the alternator, upgrade it so I can send power to the trailer to the rear and also charge the other battery and run the lights at the same time and run a winch. That's a lot of power draw. You're just gonna kill your battery and you're also just gonna kill your alternator eventually. So that's why I'm upgrading the alternator. We're talking pros and cons right now. Pros, you get more light. Get more light down the road, you get more spread light when you're out in the bush. It's pretty much all rainbows and sunshine if you put lights in your vehicle. But there are some cons. That's the cheap knockoff lights. There are a lot of brands on the market. A lot of them are good, a lot of them are okay, and a lot of them are absolute rip-offs. If you buy a cheap pair of lights or an inferior pair of lights that you're not happy with, you're going to be spending more money later because you're now going to replace them with some better lights. So that's why I would suggest consider trusted brands, brands that you trust, not necessarily just about what I trust, but also what you trust, then make your decision. At least think about it before you just go and buy a cheap no-name brand or a brand you've never heard of before. One more con, if you buy the incorrect lights, yes, you can buy the incorrect lights. If you buy a light that's just spread and you're going to use it on the highway, you are not going to get the desired result. You may need to add a lot of spread lights to get the distance. So on highways, you want spotlights, HID, halogen, something that can penetrate and go really far. Look, some LEDs can actually do this too. You really got to get lights for your specific purpose. When you're in the bush and you're going slow speed, you need floodlights. When you're on the highway, you need something that can penetrate and go really far. And when it comes to lights, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I've been driving in the dark for the last 15 years. Still looking for camp. Haven't found it yet. Why did I choose these specific lights when I've had the HX2s on the Cruiser with 2 light bars on the roof? I wanted to try something different and I wanted to have a bit of a look on the vehicle as well. And I've actually been blown away with how much light is coming out of these strikers. As you saw in the test, could have got away with just having 2 4 rather than 6. So it's more of a look thing up there, and the edge ones are providing a bit of spread. So I'm trying out the strikers, and I'm already pretty pleased with them, so I'm probably going to leave them on this vehicle and then have the two different setups. Now I'm looking forward to getting both the vehicles next to each other and then doing a bit of a light test there. So that will come up at some point, very soon actually. I guess the other question is why Life Force again and not trying a different brand? I've used Life Force for 15 years, maybe more, and some things I like to stick with. So that's one of the things, and that's why I chose them. Just like Toyotas, stick with them too. So I've gone with the same radio that I have in the Land Cruiser. It's the 370 XRS unit, so it's the one you can pair up to your phone. In the Hilux, where the hell do you mount a radio? That was the biggest struggle that I had. I found the best spot to do it is actually down here, right where the gear stick is. And that's the only place this handheld doesn't get in the way. I can still hold my steering wheel, drive, and quickly press a button and yell something into it as well, if need be. Where I've actually mounted the unit, being a hideaway unit, it's hidden inside the glove box. Now we actually mounted it to the inside of the glove box and drilled a hole in the back of it and fed all the wiring through. Where the handset is hooked up to, out of the dash here, we've got this little connection, a GME connection, which this can plug into, which is quite handy. So I can actually put this unit away, fold the antenna down that's on the roof. My secondary comms, yes, I recommend everyone has secondary comms, is a handheld radio. Now this handheld radio here is what I used for the first 8,000 kilometers in the Hilux. I was using this for all my communications. There is an entire video on how this held up, as in signal base, so check that video out. I'm not going to get into it right here. The Hilux comes with AC points in here, like an inbuilt inverter, 100 watts. So that just lives in here and gets a good charge.
So this is what I'm used to using, the HX1 HEMA. Bit of a problematic unit. Had many issues with this, and some of them are software. They're simple issues, but they just haven't addressed. I have been in contact with them. I have told the issues with it, but they haven't seemed to change anything. Number one thing I don't like about this unit is the dimming on it. At the dimmest point with this unit, which you have to do manually, it's still too bright at night, even with my lights on, shining up down the road. This unit is still too bright. It's right in your face, so you end up turning it off. Like you end up hitting the button on top to put it to sleep. This automatically dims as you're driving, and the dimming point, you don't even notice it. It just slowly dims as the ambient light reduces. It's got like a sensor somewhere on it. Don't know where the sensor is. Either goes by time or sensor, and it automatically dims. You don't even notice it. It's so good. At night, I can still clearly see out and I can see the unit. It's bright enough. This unit, far too bright, annoyingly bright. Other issues I used to have, used to freeze up, used to be super frustrating. I was actually going to go down the line of just putting the HEMA app on my phone, because HEMA do make the best maps, just not very good in technology GPS units. So I was going to put it on my phone, or I was also going to put it on my iPad. I've got a spare iPad at home. But then this came out, and I watched a review by Andrew St. Pierre White on 4x Overland, and then I watched a second review of Jailbreaker Overlander. And this is the Garmin Overlander unit, and already, I haven't even used it off-road yet, but I'm already liking it more than this unit.
The thing I do like about it is the way it just mounts, like that. It's mounted up there, it's just like my phone, it's all, and the handset, it's all magnetic. Boom, boom, done.
Just like that. The power goes into this point here, so I don't have to unplug the power to take this unit off. This unit, however, it's in here, so you have to clip it and take it out. It's not really a deal breaker, to be honest, but this thing here does automatic dimming, and so far it hasn't frozen up. I've been recording tracks on it just around the streets. So far it hasn't, hasn't timed out on me, but time will tell. Now, going by the review of Andrew St. Pierre White and Jailbreaker Overlander, those two guys, they don't BS. They don't bull about products. So I trust their reviews, and that is why I took the plunge to buy this. This cost me $960 from shopping around, delivered to my door. But the recommended retail for these is $1,000. This does come with the HEMA maps as well, just so you're aware. So it's the same maps I'm using on this unit that I was using on that unit. This is still in a Land Cruiser, but if this goes well in a Hilux, this will be kicked to the curb and I'll be getting another one of these units. So time will tell, stay tuned and we'll see how we go.
Price-wise, people always ask me this. So recommended retail is $500 for the pair, but that comes with the harness, the switches. It's plug and play, ready to go, relays, everything. You buy the kit, you can actually put the whole thing in just with that kit. Brackets as well in that kit. So that's pretty cool. 8 in total, 4 sets of lights. There's the MAF right there, $2,000. So we've added a fair bit to the Hilux. The Garmin system, I paid $960 for that. Recommended retail is $1,000, so I'm going to put the RRP in. GME radio, I can't quite recall exactly what the recommended retail price is, so that'll be on your screen right now. Now most of the weight we already added to the roof rack episode previously, so on your screen now is the weight we're adding for this episode. It's not a lot of weight there, but the total tally of what is there that we've discussed today is there, so you can have a bit of an idea if you're going to add lights to your vehicle as well. So they're only 1 kilo each. Adding a radio and an antenna, there's not a lot of weight there. So it's, you know, if you're weight conscious about your vehicle and GVM, these aren't things that are going to impact it too much.
As you can see behind me, coming up, there's a lot more to talk about. A lot has happened to the rear of the Hilux. We've got water tank, fuel tank, full electrics, a portable solution, bull bar in the front, we've got the snorkel, we've got the winch, we've got suspension to talk about. A lot more coming up, so stay tuned.